Hey guys, Angry Joe and Other Joe here at the new AJS Command Center under construction. Under construction. There's going to be a vlog about my new setup. Thanks to all of you fans out there and viewers who have supported the show over the years. This is going to be really awesome. It's going to help me bring you reviews faster and stuff. But we'll talk about that in a minute because we just got back from Sweden. I got a mysterious envelope that basically told us we have been in derelict of our gaming duties and we must travel to Sweden to check out to check out some of the latest games. It was in fact from Paradox. And this is Paradox Interactive. It's a mainly known as a grand strategy company, but they do a lot of different other games. They're also a publisher. A lot of niche games, a lot of off-the-wall games, games that other companies would probably be too scared to do. And this is something that I really like from them. So they wanted to show off their new games, go to Sweden. I brought Other Joe.
Amazing. It's a great time.
Yeah, we had a great time, but it don't mean we're going to be light on the games. We're going to be as critical as always here. So let's talk about the 6 games that they showed off at the Paradox Convention 2015. Now, I'm a little bit sick because on the plane back, some bitch was coughing in my face. You know, she was
right
next
to him.
I told her.
She was looking
I
right
told her,
at
could
him.
you cover your mouth, please?
Right at him.
We're freaking adults, man. You know, don't know how. Anyway, so she got me a little sick. I think I got like an ear infection going on or something. Pissed me off. But so we get to Sweden, and first thing we do is we go to prison. So it's a prison, yeah. They gave the little hats out there. So actually, our rooms, the hotel, was a prison. Like literally, you walked in and the room was like the door you could barely fit into. It was a 200-year-old prison called Långholmen in Sweden. So that's where we stayed at, and the prison also had plenty of room, you know, upstairs for conference rooms and stuff. But they must have also been little prison administration offices because they were small, which was cool because the developers were like right up in front of us, right in our face, and so we could poke them and shit in the eye.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the games that we saw. So they organized everybody. They had a bunch of different outlets out there, you know, Destructoid, Escapist, PC World, IGN, a bunch of people. So it was an honor to be included amongst those people and check out these games. So like I said, 6 titles, plus coffee with the CEO and COO, which I thought was really fucking unique. And I have a separate vlog video of that. In fact, I also did a Twitch stream in which I literally hammered the CEO and Shams, part of the Unicorn division. He's like the guy that signs the games, about all their failures, about their DLC practices, about a whole bunch of other stuff. I think it's so cool that there are some CEOs out there that will talk with just anybody. You shoot
like
the shit
real,
with them. It was really
chit
cool.
chat.
So that video will be coming out soon. Which one I throw up on the channel, I have to see which one's better, and then I'll link you to the other one. But so the day started out, we had a lunch or a breakfast, and then we started checking out the games in different conference rooms. First one up, Hollow Point. So Hollow Point is a game from Ruffian Games, who you may know, who made Crackdown 2. Not exactly the better of the Crackdown games.
Not a good start.
But no, it had its moments. I mean, it was fun. It was an open world game. It was huge. And that's why I think that this new game that they're doing, Hollow Point, which is about corporations fighting each other, made me immediately think of Demolition Man, fucking Taco Bell and the Pizza Hut wars and fighting each other. If you guys remember that, probably not. But but it's all clean. It's all like they look like ninjas. They're in black suits, and the corporations.
Stealth-like. I like the armor. The armor that they had.
The armor was cool. And so basically, what it is a 2.5D platformer, right? It reminded me of Contra, but the unique thing in this one is that you aren't mainly fighting people in the current plane. You're fighting people in the background, the foreground. Now, Shadow Complex, if you guys remember that. From Microsoft, I think, did a little bit of that, but this whole game is devoted to you being on the 2D plane, shooting back into the distance in the 3D plane, and that's their mechanics. That happened a little bit in Aliens vs. Predator, you know, the arcade game with that little snake dude coming out, and then Contra had a few sections, but they're making a whole game out of it. So with that sort of reduced scope and new focus, I think Ruffian Games can definitely handle that and make it cool. It was, you know, the graphics were cool. The boss battle was impressive, right? It was like spinning around, shooting lasers and shit.
So much lasers and so much color. I really enjoyed the color, and they said it wasn't even done. Their background looked amazing, but like, oh, we're gonna clean this up. I was like, are you sure? It looks pretty good.
With the cleanup, they said that there's a whole new. So what's cool about it is that it's modular, procedurally generated. So every mission, every contract that you get, you're going to get a completely new map every single time, because they build the rooms out, you know, procedurally generated. Then you go in and you know, figure out what your objective is, whether it's a prison break, whether you're stealing information, whatever it may be. So you never play the same game twice. So that was really cool. But one thing that, and so that was all the good stuff. But the bad stuff, let's talk. Well, you talk a little bit about anything else that was cool in there. Maybe the fact that you're building a
you're
mercenary.
building your character. You basically have control. You pick whoever you want and you upgrade him to the max. There's so much you could do with him.
You can rename characters, which is good. We like that.
That's always plus. You could upgrade your characters from head to toe. You could change out his whole armor.
Shoulder, individual shoulder pieces and shit like that. But
and also guns. There's like multiple things you can do with your guns. Keep getting more missions, more contracts, and you could upgrade your guns.
Yeah, and so some of the cons that we saw from it, we were like, well, you know, first off, you know, I immediately thought Contra. I was like, oh man, I want to make my own mercenary, and I want to contract a company and get a Vasquez with like a headband and then a bunch of dudes that have big muscles and shit, like fucking Contra guys. But no, that's not gonna happen. Okay, at least not in the initial release, because every mercenary we saw looked very, very similar. Now that could be because it's in pre-alpha. Okay, this is very early stuff. But I was pitching ideas. I was like, please give a wide variety of stuff, because you can pull in a whole bunch of people from Contra. But it's very clean, very corporate looking, is what I'm saying. The other misstep I thought is that maybe people might get tired of, you know, just waves and dudes coming in, dudes and shooting them in the background, and then a boss rolls around. The bosses are entertaining, so I'll definitely play the game to see all the different bosses. But there's no storyline. They're not taking advantage.
Storyline, yeah.
They're not taking advantage of that lore that they bothered to write. The corporations fighting each other. There's no like end goal. It's one of those games. It's almost like roguelike, where you just keep playing and upgrading your dude and making him more badass until you hit the level cap, which is like 30 or something. Or not really a level cap, just getting all your perks.
Yeah, and then after that you get prestige, and then you start all over. But you're like,
oh, that's right.
You're notified if this guy's prestige, so he's doing it all over again and again and again.
4-player, I think drop in, drop out co-op, and it should be pretty cool. But those are our thoughts on Hollow Point. That was the first game that we saw. I was encouraged by it. I think it's going to be, and it's coming to PC and PS4. And I asked, no Xbox One? They're like, no. And I asked Paradox a little bit about, well, why are you guys not doing anything on Xbox One? They just said what I thought they would say, which was Sony was way more open. We have some ties to them. They really care about indies, and they care about, you know, some of these smaller arcade type games going on the system. So I was like, I knew it. You know, Xbox needs to really get their ass in gear about that kind of stuff. So anyways, so that was Hollow Point. Positive outlook, but a little concerned on what's going to keep a player coming back. Currently, it's making your dudes even more badass, giving them better equipment and the bosses, which could be perfectly fine. Anyways, so what's up next? Hearts of Iron 4, okay? And I put that number 1 here. They gave it a little badge that says, you know, which of these games do you need to play? I put Hearts of Iron 4, Pillars of Eternity, which we'll talk about in a second, and Hollow Point. That's the top 3 of the 6 they were showing. Yeah.
Woo! Guys, as soon as I saw this game, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, I was sitting at the computer, I have like no fucking clue what's happening. This game is intimidating as fuck, and I was like, you know, Paradox is known for grand strategies, okay? Universalis, or Europa Universalis 4, Crusader Kings 2, Victoria. These are, I'm a huge strategy fan. You guys know that. But these are like
To the
so
max.
in depth, right? They basically don't have the toy factor. I'm all about toy factor. I need my little troops. I need the combat animations. These games don't have that, but they have everything else, you know? And, you know, I was, people have been telling me, Joe, play Crusader Kings 2, play EU4, and I've dabbed a little bit, but I had no idea what I was doing. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a grand strategy. Which grand strategy is going to appeal to me? And so, you know, World War II is cool, and I love World War II. I would prefer to see like a sci-fi one, but I'm gonna jump in on Hearts of Iron 4. And what really sold me is when they did this thing where, you know, I love World War II documentaries on the History Channel, and you know, on the maps where they draw like lines of here comes the Nazi forces and the Reich, and then the Americans came in this way and did a pincer move. Well, basically, you do that in the game. You could draw on the map, and your troops will follow those paths automatically. Basically, you set up a plan. You know, click and drag the divisions that you want, lead them with the general, and then execute the plan. What's cool is that maybe your enemy can then see where you're capture your plans and see where you're going, so they can put their troops. So that's what made me super excited. So this was the first time you get hands-on with Hearts of Iron 4. I sat down, and I guess they already thought that I knew what I was doing in a grand strategy, and I was fucking lost, dude. I was like, holy shit, I have no fucking clue what I was doing. But you know, I called them over. All the devs were there, so they led me through it. Basically, the gameplay is like I started off as Germany, of course, and the first sort of thing is you do these sort of like mission goals, which will help guide your nation. And so the first one was like peacefully annex Austria or convince them to join the Reich, and so you had to do you had to gain political influence first before you can then, you know, take over Austria. Once I took over Austria, I was like,
so in depth. You gotta do like what is it, espionage, if you want
technology.
if you want to declare war. There's so much you could do.
Yeah, it was a little intimidating. So we were saying, man, this is cool, but I hope this game is gonna have a fucking tutorial.
Or somebody who comes with it. We need a developer to come with the game to help us out for like a couple days.
That comes to your house. Hearts of Iron 4 comes with the developer. They'll fly from Sweden
Yeah, and help me.
and sit with you. No, this better have the tutorial of all tutorials, a tutorial that is spoken about throughout the ages. Because if they want, because I know they're about niche, they're about making their fans happy. Literally, this game, you could be any fucking country you want in World War II. You want to be, you know, Ethiopia, you could be Ethiopia. You want to be Madagascar, be Madagascar. Though I think Madagascar was owned by France at the time, so you'll be playing as France. So anyway, it was really cool, and they said a few things were going to be redesigned. I think it's like Q1 2015. No. They're going to need Q2 2015, possibly even Q3 if they want to get that tutorial in there.
Yeah, because it was pretty in depth. You had help. He had help the entire time. I'm over here looking at his screen, and I was like, how did you do that? I was like, how did you do that?
But the shit that I was doing was really cool, because I did test out the drawing and stuff, and I put my troops in. I have freaking invaded Poland, just smashed into their line with my fucking tanks and panzers, blitzkrieg, that shit. It was intense, but you know,
fun,
and then it hit me the fact that the combat animations, I'm gonna need to be happy with just some dudes standing there shooting each other and numbers going above their head.
That's still pretty good.
But the fact that everything else is there,
Detail though.
I know. But after seeing it, I'm saying that just because it's really intimidating. You know, I'm gonna need that tutorial, or Hearts of Iron is gonna drop below Pillars of Eternity, because
Pillars was my number one.
Pillars was your number one. Yeah, I saw you write it on that. Pillars of Eternity was amazing. But anyway, to finish on Hearts of Iron 4, I'm still just as excited, but I'm hella intimidated, and I hope it has a tutorial. And it'll be my first grand strategy, unless they, yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed playing it, but like you said, I'm gonna need help, like trying to figure out how to do everything because
Yeah.
there's a lot to do. You
Yeah,
have to
and I'm
click
not
on
sure if
stuff.
my core audience will like that kind of stuff. If you want me to stream it or you want me to do a video on it, if you don't, fuck you. I don't care because no, don't fuck you guys. I love you guys,
No.
but I want to play a grand strategy, and hopefully this can be my first one. But you know, it's not real pretty on the eye. Well, actually, it is. The map is beautiful. Everything about it looks really nice. The interface was really cool, but it's not gonna have this total war where you zoom in and you see the
Make
tanks
your own
fighting.
destiny.
Yeah, yeah. You make your own death. That's true. You can do World War II in a different way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking forward to that one. I'll definitely play it when it comes out. What's next?
Pillars of Eternity.
Well, no. Actually, in between Hollow Point and Hearts of Iron 4, we got the sit down with the CEO and the COO, Frederick and Susanna. And this is why I like Paradox and why I keep coming to their conventions. Because they're a company that I like, and Joe was there too. Unfortunately, he was sitting in front of the camera, which means the camcorder was like having trouble focusing. So
What? Was it?
if that, yeah,
I thought it was
like,
behind
"Joe,
it."
sit there." Well, your hands show up sometimes and makes the camera focus.
Son of a bitch.
No, all
I
right.
should just left the room, goddammit.
No, don't leave the room. Okay, so then they didn't want to overwhelm us, so we did those 3 events, and the next day we saw 4 more games. Pillars of Eternity. Joe?
Yes, I really enjoy this one. It's kind of like a more in-depth, like little take on, what is it?
Darkest Dungeon?
Darkest Dungeon and Dragon's Age. You get your whole little group, your posse or whatnot, and you get to explore so much.
Oh,
Like, the dungeons were amazing.
Oh.
The creatures you were fighting against were amazing.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
And Joe doesn't know the reason why Joe compared it to Darkest Dungeon and Dragon Age is because he's this is before Joe's time. It's called a CRPG. This is, you know, the old classics, okay? These are isometric view. That's why it was from the top down in the style of, you know, Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale and
These PC games?
These older ones that
So
they don't
getting
make no
into it.
more, you know? And they don't make that shit no more. And Pillars of Eternity is bringing it back. And what we saw, we were fucking blown away. Like, seriously. I was like, I was going to shove these dudes aside and start playing on stream because you can like build your own characters. Of course, you meet characters along the way that have their own stories, like you know, Mass Effect or Dragon Age. But you could also create your characters. So we could go on Twitch stream and name characters from
everybody.
people, right? And then just go on these wild adventures. The map is fucking huge. There's so much fucking content. We kept asking them how long in this game. They're like, we have no idea. It's fucking huge. I think there was like more than 150 areas or maps or something. I was like, holy shit. And all of it looked fucking beautiful. I love this.
The landscape was amazing.
It's like this combination of 2D, but yet it looks 3D-ish. It's just, the artistry is beautiful. And one of the levels he showed us was one of the level designers was like, we need a Gothic castle in here somewhere. We don't have a Gothic castle. So they just made a Gothic castle, and they put it in there. It's a part of one of the side adventures, and it looks fucking amazing. It looks beautiful. In fact, they showed us all the different ways that you can interact with the game. They went all the way to the side of the castle, which looked like a dead end because there was water in between this path and a castle wall. But he clicked on the wall anyway, and an interaction popped up, and it was like this whole separate storyline that's hidden that you can find in there, that you can climb up the castle through vines using your dexterity or whatever it was going up there, and so he did that path and got up in the castle all sneaky and started cutting up people. We are so excited for Pillars of Eternity. The guy who was there, I think his name was Josh. Don't know his last name, but this developer had answers for everything, and the group we were with were super intelligent guys which had played all the previous games that are like the CRPGs. So they were asking them about hotkeys, they were asking them about interface, they were asking them about the way the game works, and he had answers for everything, and all the guys were like, yeah, all right, yeah.
You've answered all our questions.
Yeah,
We're excited.
We didn't have questions because we didn't know shit about CRPGs, but we were excited to get up in this, and Josh, with Josh at the head of that, makes me feel confident because he knew his shit. So, Pillars of Eternity, really excited about it. Me and Joe are definitely going to play that shit on stream, and we're definitely going to try to do a review for it.
I'm going to be the best knight.
You want to be a knight?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
a wizard.
It was, and that's another thing. You make any character you want. You want a wizard with fucking armor?
See, you can make
go.
a clan of 5 knights, 5 wizards,
I
but
think your
you
party's
can
up
do
to
whatever
6.
you want. You can do whatever you want, but you're still gonna get.
Oh yeah, like they were talking about that. You know, could we make a party of 6 rogues? And it's like, yeah, but
you're gonna be limited.
they're gonna do a ton of fucking damage. But if they take any hits, they're gonna go down pretty quick. So, Pillars of Eternity, I'd have to say, was overall my favorite game of the show.
I chose correctly.
And he
that
already
was my number 1.
He already said it was number 1, and it ended up number 1. Okay, and then after that, we saw EU4 El Dorado. Now, EU4, like I said, is one of those games that I didn't fully jump into. I had a copy, but I just couldn't get into it because it was just too much. And these grand strategy games are games that you have to go on YouTube and watch an hour or 2 of tutorials to learn how to play, really, from other people, because the Paradox tutorials, they're there and they're sort of sufficient, but I want something better. And so I've never gotten into the games fully, but God, what I saw from it. There are hardcore fans of this stuff out there, and they keep cranking out expansions, free stuff, DLC. In fact, the Crusader Kings 2's DLC is like out of control at this point. It's like $300 worth of DLC. But people keep buying it because they add substantial stuff. It's not like fucking crap DLC or anything like that. But anyway, so EU4 El Dorado, what this is all about is they're adding like the Mayans and the Aztecs, and you can come in as the Europeans. You can look for the cities of gold, like these are 7 or 9 cities of gold and stuff, and a bunch of new events that pop up and play out. But one of the coolest features was creating your own nation. That's what I liked about it. So I was sitting there in the demo creating the Angry Empire. I think I have footage of this. I'll show you. And so, of course, I started in Texas, Austin, Texas. But if you go back, the Texas region is kind of shit. There's not a lot of resources. There's no gold there. There's a bunch of miles and miles and miles and miles. And so my empire was fucking poor. I was attacking. I attacked like 2 Indian tribes. I won.
Murder.
Yeah, man. I don't give a shit. It's an angry empire.
It's gotta need monies.
Yeah, and I was so broke. So eventually the devs saw how broke I was. Like, all right, you need to go down to South America or Central America and beat up all the Aztecs and take their gold. And so that's what I did. I tried to go down there. And I was doing really good. I was like kicking ass, and then all of a sudden, when you get to the guys that own the gold, they fucking pushed back, and I was like, oh my god, I got my ass kicked, and I retreated all the way back. So I saw how these mechanics worked, and it fascinated me being in this grand strategy world for just a little bit. Like how you attack people, you can't just simply cross the border and just go attack, which you can, but it's like so many political and influence negatives and all these different things that will hurt you in the long run. So what you have to do is you have to go and do diplomatic actions, and you basically forge a claim, like a fake claim to the land. So you send a diplomat who goes in there, a percentage bar fills up where he's bullshitting like, yeah, we have stake here. This land used to be ours because Pedro over there, his family is from here, but he moved away, but he still owns, you know what I mean? They make up this fake shit. And so once that's complete, then I can stake a claim and declare war to go get back my claim. And so I invaded in there. It made me excited. I just wish these grand strategies had that satisfying combat, but that's an element that I don't think they're ever going to do. The first company that does that, though, mixes like the satisfying combat with everything else, is going to make a game where I'll never leave it, just be in the game forever.
And that's the end of that one. It was like, that's
So-
all I'm doing this game.
Yeah, so EU4 El Dorado is cool for EU4 fans. I'm sure they're going to get a kick out of it, creating their own empires. There was also an option, talking about that option that mixes up the countries there. Remember that?
You had your own personal tutorial person or whatever.
Yeah, I stole the developer again. He kept going to Joe, but I kept bringing him back and asking him questions. Well, I was the one filming, Joe. I got the footage.
That's fine.
Okay, well, another thing is you can mix up the countries. So Denmark isn't where Denmark is. Denmark could end up being Turkey. And, they have all the cultural and historical things of the Turkish people, but they're Denmark. So anyway, and that makes it up for people who have played this game forever. So Yeah, so that was EU4. And not sure if I'm going to get into EU4 or stream it or do something on it, but, like I said, I want Hearts of Iron 4 probably is my first jump in. After EU4, Magicka 2. So what do you think of it? Let me let you start there.
Well, going in, everything else was PC. Then come to find out, these are this is a PS4.
Well, it's also PC, but
Yeah,
they demoed it on the
yeah,
PS4.
They demoed it on the PS4. This one, first time playing it, I have never played the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But I still find it very entertaining. There's a lot of achievements you could use to kind of help boost your stuff up, make it faster mode, more powerful.
Oh, you're talking about the artifacts, the way that
yeah.
it changes gameplay. Mm-hmm.
But I had a lot of fun playing with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the spell system. Usually on the computer it's real easy because you can hit the spells you need and you combine the spells together and then you fire it off.
I like making
did you
my own,
feel like
I felt
it was easy to create the spells and fire it off on a controller?
Yes, it was for me because like basically you got your 4 buttons and you hold the left trigger.
Well, Joe must have got it faster than I did because there is a learning curve. This game, you can't just jump into it and control your wizard. I was getting a little frustrated. I was like, fuck, and I kept dying because Joe would fucking kill me. The dev would fucking kill me thinking he's having a good time. He's like, I'm gonna make this guy laugh, Boom! It's like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm trying to fucking play.
I made so many
I was about to get angry.
I made a lot of great creations.
Don't kill me in Magic, this shit ain't funny!
It was. Are you gonna put some footage of that?
I don't know. I think I have.
Recorded some footage. Yeah. He was the red one, obviously, and he kept dying.
No, I was yellow.
Oh, you were yellow?
Yeah, I was yellow. I think the dev was the
kept
red.
dying.
What color were you?
I was blue.
Yeah.
I was blue.
So,
I was kicking ass.
So you want to play this one?
It was fun. It was very enjoyable. I would like to get a group of people. Well, it's 4, co-op, whatever.
You want to do 4. You want to do 4 to have fun in Magicka.
Yeah.
And so over here on my side, I played the original Magicka. It came out, was really buggy. They eventually fixed it and they released DLC, and then they got another expansion and some DLC and Magicka this and Magicka that, mobile Magicka, Magicka Wizard Wars.
You got all Magicka.
I got Magicka down. I'm like, damn, man. They are milking the fuck out of Magicka over there at Paradox. But it's because it was one of their most successful titles, like 1 million copies sold in the first Magicka. So, I mean, if people are demanding it, which there are huge fans of it, then obviously we're going to get a proper sequel. And this is a proper sequel. However, it's not Arrowhead Studios, the guys that had the magic behind the first one. They went off and I think they're doing a PS4 title for Sony called Helldivers. So this is a different dev studio. So immediately I was like, is this going to feel right? Is it going to feel like the original Magicka? It feels perfect. It feels great. You pick it up and you're ready to go. There was a lot of humor in the previous Magicka. That's there still. They were doing a dance.
They were doing the Macarena.
They were doing the Macarena.
It's like first one to figure it out is Macarena. It's like, I'm kind of surprised you know that.
Because Joe's Hispanic.
I don't know why.
So the baddies were doing this evil ritual and they were doing the Macarena. We came in there and started blasting them off. And then they had interaction with the levels to little puzzles to get to the next part. So even though I was Magicking out, I was like, yeah, I'm having a good time. I'll definitely play it. I mean, I'm not super excited. Like, yeah, Magicka! No. That's not me.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. It's one of those games that I think will do well on a console. Because it's that party environment where you're laughing and people are getting killed.
Yeah,
no, if you kill me, I'm fucking pissed.
Obviously, he was getting pissed off. I like making all my different combinations, trying to figure out some new weapons, some new armor.
Oh yeah. There was some hidden spells in there. If you could find them, they're real impressive and stuff. There was like a fucking dragon.
How'd you do that? I was like, I'm not telling you.
Yeah, exactly. So that was Magicka 2. Looking forward to that one coming out. And then I think one last one. It's called Cities Skylines. Now, this is actually sort of supposed to be their SimCity killer. And we all know the story with SimCity. Well, SimCity was SimCity's killer. Because it came out, it was fucking broken. EA kind of fucked that up. And, I mean, it was still a functional game, but it was just limited and kind of not what people wanted in the whole online thing. So people have been looking for another city builder. I think there was another game that did all right, but it kind of fucked it up. Cities XXL came out just recently, and it was like ran like shit. It looks good, but it ran like shit. And so people are still looking for one of these types of city builder games. Me and Joe sat down in front of a computer. I didn't get footage for this one. Sorry about that, but it was intuitive. It was simple. It looked good. I mean, the graphics, I don't think the graphics are quite as good as City XXL or, but it works and it runs flawlessly. Well, I wouldn't say flawlessly, but it doesn't have huge frame rate drops and shit that like the XXL had. And I liked the art style. You see all the little buses and the people. It kind of looked like that trick photography. And I forgot what that trick photography was where, real images kind of look like little toys and stuff. Do you know what the photography? Well, anyway, I'm sure somebody in the comments will know what kind of photography that is. It looks great. It was very simple. You can paint, residential areas, industrial areas. The only thing that you really needed to know, which I think is taken care of in the tutorial, is you gotta, get your sewage there, bring the water, and bring the electricity. So once you got the pipes for water and the electricity good to go, then you build your city, you build commercials, you build industry. It looks really fun.
Well, yeah, coming into it, I'm gonna be honest, I really wasn't looking forward to it. It's like, another building game, whatever. But once we sat down and she kind of helped me for a couple minutes.
It was the hit of the show. Like, everybody was all over it. Me and Joe were like, what the fuck is this?
It was like, why? But yeah, once I got there, I was like this. Just getting closer and closer, and then they were like, "Oh, it's time to go." I was like, "Oh, it's almost 2 hours. Wait! I still gotta finish my city. Wait."
Yeah, he was struggling because he refused to take loans, like bank loans.
No.
I sat down like an hour late because I was talking with. I did a live stream, harassing the CEO about all the company's fuck ups. But I came back and I sat down, and I surpassed Joe's city.
Because you got loans.
But I got a bunch of loans, so I was in debt. But my city got big, and it's fun because once you hit a certain level, like 500 citizens, then you unlock more buildings and shit. You hit 1,000 citizens, you get the fire, the police, and all
clinics or whatever.
And it's just so fun to watch all the little dudes move around. So while I don't think the graphics are quite as good as Cities XXL, I think it works better than City XXL. Even though I haven't played that.
Pretty addictive.
And
not gonna lie.
Yeah, exactly. Where I wasn't that interested in SimCity, I'm kind of interested in playing this one, maybe streaming it a few times. It's not exactly a game that speaks to me on the soul. Like I don't go out and build cities. Yeah. My city looked fucking ugly as hell. Like I got up and walked around. They brought some other YouTubers who were like actual hardcore city builders, and I was like, oh my god, their cities are so fucking beautiful.
Yeah, he's like, let me see yours. No. I'm not done. I'm not
look
done.
at our fucking city. It looks like shit. So y'all can make fun of us when we make cities. We'll probably do a Let's Play for it, but probably not a review. But yeah, so that was all the games from Paradox, and there's a few companies that I personally have affinity for. And you guys are going to hear me say this a billion times. So, Paradox Interactive is one of them. CD Projekt Red is another. These guys are very transparent. They know when they fucked up. They'll tell you, hey, we fucked up.
They got it down. They got it down.
So it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to their 2015 lineup. They one thing though is at these conventions they usually announce some games. No announcements. It was a little depressing. However, they explained why, which is they had just recently canceled Rune Master. You guys know Rune Master. I did that interview. If you search on my channel, you'll find this interview with Yuan, who is so excited about this Viking lore and this RPG. It's just this so gentle and so cool, dude. I just want to pinch his cheeks, this little Viking with this. And I told Joe about Yuan, and Joe was like, "Who's that?" And then after Yuan gave his presentation, because he did like the overall presentation about what's coming up, but no announcements. Joe was like, Joe. I turned around, he's like, I know what you mean now. You want to bring it. And it sucks because his game got canceled. Rune Master.
He was so passionate. He was like, oh, don't remind me.
Yeah, don't remind me of the fact that it got canceled. But apparently it wasn't up to, it wasn't up to par. It sucked, or it needed a lot more elements. And they said, you know what? Let's
It's not
devote time and energy to some of these other projects that we haven't announced yet. And unfortunately, it got canceled. When Syndicate was announced, that first-person shooter, and everybody was pissed off, and they wanted the top-down view. Paradox announced they were going to do a Syndicate-like thing called the Cartel. Canceled. They couldn't make it work. They canceled another grand strategy, East versus West. Canceled. Big story there about how they put a lot of time and effort into it, and it wasn't working out, and the devs just blah blah blah. And then I think there was another game that got canceled, and they realized they were making a mistake because during the concept phase, you don't announce the game while you're checking the proof of concept to see if it's fun, to see if it works. And so they kind of learned from their mistakes, and they said, you know what, it's gonna suck. The press is going to be a little upset that there's no new announcements, but they'll be happy because they get to play these games and check out these 6, but no new announcements. We'll announce them when they're ready, when they're confident they're super fun.
They want to be 100% this time.
Right, instead of canceling them and pissing everybody off. So I was like, I can respect that. That's cool. So looking forward to whatever else comes out. And when I did my interview, please check out that interview. It was a Twitch stream where I was talking with Frederick and Shams, which are head honchos over at Paradox Interactive, asking about the failures of their project, how they view DLC, how gaming is evolving in 2015, mobile garbage, and how they're making so much money and how that affects a medium-sized publisher like this who is kind of rare, independent. You don't really see medium-sized much anymore. THQ went under, so that's a really cool interview. You guys need to check that out. And I asked them, I'm like, Game of Thrones. We need to see a grand strategy from Game of Thrones. I'm like all over there, please. And they were smiling about it, so I don't know what that means, but they had plans in the press, but I don't know if it'll ever happen. And then I started having, give me Warhammer 40K grand strategy, give me sci-fi grand strategy. So check out that video. And so that's what we saw at Sweden. And so we'll have a vlog soon about my new setup here. I'll tell you all the system specs, where I got it from.
We're gonna have all this lit up. It's gonna be like Star Trek. Like Star Trek? No.
No.
No, you sure?
The system does light up from Alienware.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and then we'll get started on the angry reviews. So please wait a little bit on that. I think Evolve is out, Attila is out. So we'll try to get started on those. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show.